future and life. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside, 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 bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future and life. Love is light that's within me, the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside, inside, inside.
A healthy balance, a healthy life balance. Hello.
Bringing hope and make you feel alright.
Davis, welcome.
Rainbow, the promise, the future and life.
Yes, help share the live.
Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world.
Thank you already.
Let the
Thank
dawn
you.
of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside,
Titi, welcome.
inside,
I see you, Floris. Ideally.
inside,
Thanks for joining. You're welcome.
inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright.
I see you, P.
Rainbow, the promise,
Help
the
share this
future
live,
and
guys. Thank
life.
you.
Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside, inside,
Welcome, guys.
inside, bringing hope and make you feel.
Let's help share this live to 20 people or more, please. Honey, I see you. Thanks for joining. Rampa, I see you. Thanks for joining. You're
Love
welcome.
is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world.
Yeah.
Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love.
Thank you for joining, Rampa. I see you. Thanks for joining. Let's share the live, please.
Inside,
All around me.
inside, inside, bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow,
I see you, Shidon. I see you, Corriday. Welcome.
future and life.
Thanks for joining.
Love is light that's within me, shine to the
Charlene.
whole world,
How are you today? Happy Thursday to you. You're welcome. Help share the live to your friends to be part of this live, please. Philip, welcome.
Oh, inside,
I see you. You are welcome. Joy for the Lord. Welcome to Inside. Hello, hello, hello. Wherever you're joining from, good day to you, good afternoon, good evening. I trust this Thursday is okay so far. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and one has to just be thankful to God for every day we sleep, we wake up, we go out, and we come back. We ought to be grateful, we ought to be thankful. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are hearing on the news, there's just chaos everywhere in every city, even here in the United Kingdom. There's a lot going on out there. So guys, to everyone out there, where there are protests, riotings, looting, going through any form of discrimination or what have you here in the UK and even in other nations, I pray that God will keep us all safe, and that His peace above all things, will rule in our hearts and in our lives, and also in our land. Because if there is no peace, we can't sleep, we can't move freely. A lot of things will be disrupted. Sita, thanks for joining. I see you. You're welcome. Help share this live to your friends to be part of this talk today. You're welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal. Today, I have another interesting topic for us today to talk about. And how does this topic affect us? How are we going through this? Maybe it's a challenge or maybe it's a joy in our marriage. I don't know. But we're looking at it today. Lady B, thanks for joining. Please help share the live to your friends. Let them be part of this talk today. I see you, Ralph. Thanks for joining. So please, guys, be safe out there. And one of the warnings, people just receiving on their phone is when you're out and about, especially when you're walking out about, maybe in a public place, if you see anyone, with a hoodie or with a face mask, just be careful, because there's a lot of stabbings going on out there in the United Kingdom. People being attacked, stores, being looted, and even the so-called protest has turned to riots, and a lot of things going on. And then for whatever reason, we get information being passed on which city is going to be next or which town is going to be next. It's not a good news you want to hear, because considering that it's the summer period, people are on holidays, children want to go out and play now. Everybody's just being careful. So guys, let's just be careful. Better safe than sorry. So please be safe out there and be vigilant wherever you're going. Please make sure you get back home in good time, not in the dark, so to say, just to look out for one another. So let's be safe out there, and may the peace of God, rule the nations of the world, and let every man hold their peace, so that peace can reign in the lands. Danielle, thanks for joining. So today I will go straight into my talk, so that we have, good time to kind of talk more about this, enlighten ourselves, and see where we go from here. Today's topic is marriage and career. Marriage and career. There are two topics on its own, but joining them together, it makes a whole lot of sense, because sometimes you find out that some people, they marry in their 20s, and in their 20s they want to chase their career, they want to pursue their dream job, dream careers, and things like that, and finding themselves to be a young couple. And then we have some they've been married for years and years, whilst still in the marriage, they're trying to pursue. Best girl, good evening to you. I trust you're good. Welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal this evening. Please help share to your friends to be part of this talk. Juliana, I see you. You're welcome. So even for people, thank you so much, who have been years and years in their marriage, might just decide to pursue a particular career. How do you manage all of that? Kende, I see you. Thanks for joining. How do you manage your marriage and that dream career? How do you manage all of that? So we're going to be looking at this topic today. And once again, thanks for always joining in. I really, really appreciate that so much. And don't go away, guys, because at some point after my talk, I'm going to bring us up to, expand this some more so that we can learn. Or perhaps there's a newlywed couple out there listening and they're like, that's true, my career, what happens now that I'm married or now that I'm having children, or whatever the transition is for you. It's something worth looking into so it doesn't become like a burden or a problem or a challenge. So send to as many people to be part of this talk as possible. And today my puzzle is coming. So if you know the puzzle, you have to come up and tell us, or you can type it in. But you know you have to get gifts. So how do I give you your gifts? If you're right, by the way, or if you get it right. So by the hour or thereabout, I'm going to be bringing the puzzle, and I wonder what it's going to be. And by the way, guys, last week I thought I was going to bring a guest on today to talk about a very crucial topic, but my guest is not a TikToker. And you know what the challenge is. If somebody's not a TikToker, it's going to be a challenge coming on to your live. So we're trying to sort them out. So be rest assured, one of these Thursdays, I'm going to bring my guest. And the reason is because he wants to share his experience with us, because most marriages are going through that challenge. It's a bit sensitive, so I'll just leave it at that. So apologies, I'm not able to bring them in today. And that's why I'm looking at another crucial topic, marriage and career. So today, this topic, I believe, strongly touches many lives and many marriages. Oh, thank you, Burst Girl. Thank you so much. Your picture is a bit tiny, but I bet you're looking lovely yourself. Thank you for joining. So balancing marriage and career. And as we all know, in this fast-paced environment, you know, where we want to achieve, everybody in the world, wherever you are, you know, managing demands on both a fulfilling career and a healthy and thriving marriage can be challenging. We all know that, because for the fact that you're married now, is that the end of your career? Or when you're now married, you're trying to balance your career as well, and it's becoming a task, you know, a challenging one at that. But you know what? To every situation or to every challenge, there is always a way out. And that's why it's always good to talk about these things. You might learn a thing or two, and I might learn a thing or two from you as well. So let's look at it. Both aspects are crucial for personal satisfaction. Marriage is crucial for personal satisfaction, some see it that way, and for growth as well, but they often require time. You know, if you want to go into marriage, you know, it's for a lifetime. Are you mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, economically, all of those things, are you ready? Because it will require time, energy, and attention that can be difficult to balance. You know, marriage is the institution you're sent off into with your certificate. Other institutions, you go into the institution, they teach you, you learn, you pass, you graduate, you get your certificate. I mean, that's the norm. But in a marriage setup, it's an institution, yeah, they call it at that. And then they give you a certificate, and then they now send you into the institution. So you have to learn. All hands on deck, whatever that can help, you know, in a healthy way. Let's be mindful. We need to bring that on board, because it could be quite challenging to go into that transition of being a single person, now married, with career and all of that. So we need to learn how to juggle things together. So today we'll be discussing the dynamics of balancing marriage and career, the potential challenges and strategies for maintaining harmony between the two. You don't want your marriage to suffer, and as well, you don't want your career to suffer, because they're quite important aspect of, you know, human being as well. So let's look at the importance of both career and marriage. The importance of both career and marriage, because like I said, both of them are quite important. So both marriage and career play vital roles in our lives, contributing to our overall happiness, identity, and fulfillment. Marriage plays that role, career also plays that role, but one, you know, significant. Career may go away, but you don't want your marriage to go away. It's a forever institution. When you pursue career, you go for trainings, it lasts for 3-4 years tops, or depending on the career you're pursuing, maybe some 6 years or thereabout. But your marriage is forever, till death do you part. And we know that marriage, some couples are married for 60 years plus and all of that. So you can imagine going to school for 60 years straight on. You're not graduating from that school. From one level to another, you keep carrying on till death. That is what marriage institution is about. So marriage is a strong institution that provides emotional support. Well, in a healthy relationship, if I may add that, provides emotional support, companionship, and stability. So it can be a source of immense joy, helping us navigate life's challenges and celebrate its successes. And more so, you share this with a lifelong partner. They're there when you're happy, they're there when you're sad, they're there when you're achieving, they're there when you're underachieving, and all of life's situation, they're there to share with you. Meanwhile, career, it's a fulfilling career can offer financial stability, and which will help the marriage as well. Personal growth, because you're passionate about what you're doing, and this kind of bring growth because you're looking for ways to better yourself, to do things better, be more innovative, do more research or whatever you have to do, top up trainings and things like that. Best girl, thanks for liking the live. Diane, I see you. Share to your friends to be part of this talk today. So career can bring about personal growth and a sense of accomplishment, because this is something you do, and some people get recognized, some people get awards, some people get honorarium, some get all sort of things. And this is what a career can bring to an individual, that sense of accomplishment. And it allows us to utilize our skills and passion, contributing to our self-worth and identity. So career plays that huge role in our lives. Especially to those who have a career. Some people might have careers, they're into so many things, and that is even more demanding when you're talking about careers in a marriage relationship. So balancing these two is very important. It's very important, and it requires thoughtful consideration and proactive strategies. I used to say this, or people say this a lot, that when couples are planning to get married, all they're thinking is their wedding day, how it's going to be. They put a lot of effort. Everything has to be perfect. From the color to the location to the this to the that, guests and food and decoration, everything has to be, and I wish, we'll pay more attention into the marriage we're going into, not just the wedding day, because the wedding day, one day, some people maybe 2 days, but the wedding is forever. And have you put so much effort into all aspects of wedding? Okay, newlyweds, first child, parents, a lot of transition happens in marriage, and sometimes you find out that some people are not mentally prepared for that, and they get so overwhelmed and they start bringing issues into their relationship. So we need to learn to balance things. And how can we do this proactively with strategy? Let's talk about it. So challenges in balancing marriage and career. Of course, there are challenges to it, especially to newlyweds, or people who they don't have much experience, because sometimes it's not all newlyweds that have both their parents who they can still, relate with in terms of marriage relationship or career or what have you. So they have to learn somehow. So balancing marriage and career can present several challenges, which I'm going to be looking at few of them, not all. And like I say, when I give this talk, let's reflect on it, what angle you might want to contribute when it's time for us to share. So several challenges will face balancing marriage and career. And the first thing is time management. That one I cannot overemphasize. Time management. Both marriage and career demand significant time and energy. And it even depends on what your career is about. At least we know marriage, it is what it is. It's time consuming because you have to do not just for you now, for your spouse, and God helping you with children and all of that. So balancing work hours, household responsibilities, and quality time with the spouse can be overwhelming. Yes, multitasking, not everybody's good at it. But I mean, this is the demand of what we have found ourselves in. Thank you, best girl, for liking the live. Thank you so much. Let's share still to our friends. And again, another one is stress and burnout. High pressure careers can lead to stress, we all know that, and can lead to burnout when you don't take time out or you don't go on holidays. Take a time out to look after yourself and things like that. And this can negatively affect marital relationship. When you don't take time out, your spouse said, okay, let's have a meeting. We're going on holidays for 2 weeks or a week. And then they're like, oh, I've booked at my office. You say, okay, you will book your office, to book for the holiday. And both of you plan that. And then it's getting like a month to go. And they're like, have you booked your own holiday? Because I've booked mine. And it's like, oh, there's this deal, there's this contract, and it's very crucial. It's not coming up with, you need to not burn out in that. You need to learn to balance things so you don't burn out and you're not stressed out. So high pressure careers can lead to stress and burnout, which can negatively affect marital relationships. Similarly, marital conflicts can impact professional performance and focus. So when you're having issues in your marriage, it can affect your performance at work. So we have to learn to balance things so that marriage is not affecting career and career is not affecting marriage. They might say it's easier said than done, but somehow we would have to learn the hard way. I hope we won't learn the hard way. That's how I'm bringing it here today on Insight. Let's talk about this. Check yourself, check your marriage, check your career. Which one, has more time than the other? Is it balanced where your own life is concerned? I don't know. I can speak for me anyways. So another thing again, the challenge that you face trying to balance marriage and career is communication gaps. Busy schedules can lead to communication gaps between partners. You're so busy, and in fact, it's even worse when maybe one partner is doing the night shift and the other partner is doing day shift, and they only meet at the door or at the garage way. See you later, and that's all the connection for the day. The rest is on text. How have you been? Are you okay? How long can you do that? So communication gaps, we need to talk about things. Busy schedules can lead to communication gaps between partners, and if it's not deliberately looked at, it will disrupt a lot of things. So lack of effective communication can cause misunderstandings and weaken the marital bond. You're both successful in your careers, but your marriage is suffering because of poor communication. The gap is just too much. And if you had to sit down and say, oh my God, when last did I see my husband face to face? When last did I see my wife face to face? Man, this job, this career is just getting too much. But things can be balanced. I will look at that in a moment as well. Then again, role conflicts, as in traditionally, gender roles and expectations can create conflicts, especially if both partners have demanding careers. You've gone out to work 10 hours a day, your spouse has gone out to work 10 hours a day, and then you come back, in the house, at home, the wife, she's supposed to make dinner, Some of us, the way we grew up, the wife's place is in the kitchen, so to say. She has to cook, do the laundry, clean the house, and all of that. But now, why there'll be conflict is we need to sit down. Both of us have gone to do 10-hour jobs or 8-hour or whatever, and we're back in the house, and then we expect one partner to do everything else at home. There will be conflict. There will be conflict if you don't sit down and talk about things amicably. So balancing household chores and childcare responsibilities, it requires negotiation and compromise. It might not be, you might need to lose 1 or 2 hours of sleep just to meet up with your responsibility in that home, rather than push it all on your spouse, because they're also a career person. Both of you are chasing your career as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong in that, but you need to learn to balance it with your home life such that it's not affecting either of you or the children. Laura, thanks for joining. I see you. So another challenge I'm going to mention before I move on is work-life integration. So the blurring of boundaries between work and home life, especially the rise of remote work, can make it difficult to switch off from work and focus on personal relationship. An example, because of COVID that happened, that's the worst way. Think about it. Well, maybe the West, maybe the South, or maybe the world generally. We know COVID has taken a toll on the world. Whereas before, you have to go to work every single day, Monday to Friday, hop on the train or drive to work and things like that. And here comes COVID. People had to learn to manage to work from home. So now imagine, now that things are, well, somewhat normal, and some people, not in Africa, oh, well, if you say so, Yuda, I'm not too sure. Some people might contest that, but we'll see. We'll come up and, share more, put more flesh to that, what you've written on there. So you're a remote worker and your spouse, maybe they have to go to work. Or even in some cases, I've heard cases where husband and wife now, they work remotely. And you have official hours. I'm not saying don't put in extra time and all of that. Your work normally officially closes 5 p.m. Because you're at home, you feel like, okay, let me push 1 hour extra. Okay, it's fair enough. And then by 10 p.m., you're still, I have to do this quickly. And then your spouse is waiting for that company. Your spouse, needs to talk or needs to just be with you. But you're back on that computer, like you remember something, for crying out loud. If you had to go to work and come back and no work at home, at 10 p.m. you remember anything. Are you telling me you're going to drive the car straight to work and do whatever and come back? You're not. Definitely not going. Even if you're going to do that, it's probably a one-off. You can't keep doing that all the time. So you need to learn to balance that relationship, that personal relationship. Otherwise, it's going to create problem. I know, because I was there in 2022, 23 in Africa, and that total difference than in Europe. Oh, of course, I know there are quite a number of things that are still different. No doubt about it. Don't worry, Yuda. I hope you stay on so you can come and shed more light to that. Every culture is different. Every nation probably is different. Every continent is different. There's some things that have changed for good here in UK that maybe in Africa they're still back to whatever they were doing, or but when you're talking about marriage and career, anywhere in the world, you want to chase your career, it's going to require time. You want to build your marriage, it's going to require time, energy, compromise, and a lot of things. I see you, Kwabena. Thanks for joining. Please help share the live to as many people as possible. So, strategies for balancing marriage and career. Like I say, I will mention some, not all, because I don't know it all. And when you come up, please, maybe you should take notes now to let us know which angle you're going to be sharing with us. So to effectively balance marriage and career, you need to consider some strategies. You have to plan certain things. Otherwise, you can't just live life like that. You chasing career. Career now becomes or looks like it's more important than your marriage relationship. And then God help you, children are now involved. You both have to sit and talk how you're going to manage everything. So to effectively balance marriage and career, we need to consider some strategies. And the first thing really, guys, every week, I think this point always comes up. Open communication. Lovette, you're welcome. Open communication. Maintain open, honest communication with your partner about your career goals, your challenges, your career expectations, and regularly discuss your schedules, your responsibilities, and how you can support each other. Because if I don't know your work is so tedious, the career you're pursuing, I just know by name, okay, I might not know the nitty-gritty of what you have to do. It might take a lot on you. And then sometimes at work, you might have deadlines here and there, and it might require you staying extra. Don't just assume your partner knows because you're not back home. It means you're doing extra or overtime or whatever you want to call it. Don't just assume. You need to communicate with them, because otherwise, what if you were on your way home and something had happened and they're trying to get hold of him, they can't reach him, and here is he thinking, oh, my spouse is still at work, oh, they're fine. So you need to communicate with one another, and it doesn't mean you're spying on one another or you're controlling or what have you, but you need to communicate your schedules, your responsibilities. Even if you say, oh, I'll see you at 7 p.m. and at 7 p.m. you're even still at work, you need to send message, oh my dear, guess what, this and this. As long as it's not a regular occurrence, because it will strain your relationship with your spouse. So another thing we need to consider, another strategy, is prioritize quality time. And this is together, not one-sided. Not the husband prioritizing and the wife is not. Not the wife prioritizing and the husband is not. So prioritize quality time. Schedule dedicated time for each other. If you can schedule that meeting, if you can schedule that appointment, schedule this one if possible. Free from work distractions. It has to be deliberate, guys. Otherwise, it will create problems. So whether it's a weekly date night, a shared hobby, or simply deliberate, guys. Otherwise, it will create problems. So whether it's a weekly date night, a shared hobby, or simply believers who go to church as a family, and on Sunday everybody's asking, where is your wife, where is your husband? They're like, they had to quickly dash off to work. Every week in, week out, so we need to prioritize and make sure we spend time, quality time together. And this has to be when you communicate, plan things way ahead of time, so that everybody has ample time to plan for whatever it is, activity you decide to engage in, but it has to be planned. Otherwise, again, we have to set boundaries, establish clear boundaries between work and home life. So many times people cross this. Say these things you have talked about it in time when you are falling in love together. Exactly. I was still going to come to that. Well, thank you. Thank you. When you're dating each other, you need to talk about, what does your career entail? Where do you see yourself in the next 10, 20 years? Because you're going to be in that marriage. So talk about these things so that it's not so overwhelming when you're not in that marriage. Some people don't even have a career when they got married. Whilst in that marriage, they develop this thing and they want to chase career. And the spouse is like, I didn't meet you thinking you want to chase any career. But this is advancement. This is growth. Things can happen. We don't have a control over how we're going to turn out or what we're going to pick up to do, even in the future. But as it goes along, we need to learn to adapt so that it's not a problem. Thank you so much, Yuda, for that contribution. So set boundaries, establish clear boundaries between work and home life, create a designated workspace, set specific work hours. When do you finish at work? As in, when you finish. Don't tell me, oh, 1 hour extra, 2 hours extra all the time. No. What time is your official closing hour, so I know how to plan myself? So you need to set clear boundaries. Avoid checking work emails or taking calls during family time. You're out with a barbecue. Maybe it's even a weekday evening, which you're meant to spend with your family after work anyways. And there you are, you're still having conference call. You'll be like, I'll be out in a minute, I'll be out in a minute. You're on one conference call after another. And the wife or the missus or the husband shouting, come on, honey, we're waiting. Like, just give me 5. That 5 minutes has turned to 1 hour. And you keep doing this, it's going to strain that relationship. So you need to set boundaries and abide by it, at least as best as possible, so it doesn't create problem for you in your marriage. Again, share responsibilities. I cannot say this enough. You have to learn to share, because look, whether you're in Africa or in Europe, you have to learn to share. You can't expect the woman, that's the norm. The woman cooks, clean and all of that. I'm not saying women don't do, but she has a career as well. She comes back tired. Not all women are super women. We have to help, help out. Maybe if you, the husband, gets home before her, start chopping the carrots. When she comes, you make the meal and things. You do it together so that one partner is not overwhelmed, because resentment can come when it's too much. And you might not know, if you wonder, I didn't do anything to my spouse, why are they feeling this way? But they feel so overwhelmed, they feel tired, they feel they go there and do the work and still come home and do the work. When would they have, and nobody's helping? So you can imagine the laundry is piling, plates piling, she needs to cook, she needs to clean and all of that, and no help. So we need to learn, to share responsibilities. Consider each of your strengths, your preferences. Maybe your husband may love cooking. Say, you know what, cooking, I will cook. When we get back from work, I will cook. Don't worry. You can sort out the dishes, or you can do this. Let's be one another's keeper, so to say. And, work schedules when assigning tasks. Say to who is doing what, so we know who is doing what. Don't just assume she's going to do it or he's going to do it. And at the end of a whole week, nothing is done because nobody has been assigned to do it. So share that responsibility and let each partner knows what they're doing. Flexibility and willingness to help each other are the key. Maybe you've done your chores and you see your partner is still struggling. You can help out, guys. It's not the end of the world. Come on. Please, let's help one another so we can enjoy our career and enjoy our marriage relationship as well. Again, support each other's goals. These are ways we can balance, marriage and career. Encourage and support each other's career aspirations. Celebrate achievements together and provide a listening ear during challenging times. Your spouse may come home and rant about maybe a colleague making life miserable for them, and they just want to offload to you, but you're there on the phone. I'll be with you in a minute. And they're like, you're never there. And then if care is not taken, they find comfort, or somebody else to offload to, and before you know, problems, where I'm going to. So let's be careful. Be each other's cheerleader. Foster a strong partnership bond. When you do that, support one another, encourage one another, be interested in each other's career. I mean, on a healthy level. Yes, let's put it that way. And I'll still mention a few bits so that we have a lot to work with. In Nigeria, men are the head of the family. Nothing like helping out. Oh. Best girl. You see what I mean? But does that help? Is that marriage happy like that? Some people, it might work for them. Even the woman will tell the man not to enter the kitchen. It's our place. Whatever works. But I'm talking like generally, so people can actually pick one or two things that would work in their marriage, because not all that I say might work for everybody, but there should be one or two things that can work out. So maybe in Africa, we know our culture. The man is the head of the home. Certain things in the house, I must not do. Like, we both have two hands. If he helps, I don't know if that will reduce him as a man or what. I don't understand, but it is all good. But whatever works, it can be managed better. That's all I'm trying to say here. And thank you for that contribution, because I do understand as well. Being each other's cheerleader. And again, plan together. Regularly plan and set goals together, both for your marriage and your careers. There's no harm in asking your spouse, this career I heard something on the news, like this is the projection. Maybe you should have this kind of training. It might actually help you and things like that. Don't say because it's not your career, you can't be bothered. But this is your spouse and you want them to do better, even in their career. So you can support in that way, not loading things over, but you can make suggestions and things like that. And also you can suggest things for your marriage. You can go for retreats as a couple as well. You can suggest that. Anything that would help make life easy. Plan together, really. Discuss long-term plans such as career changes if you think it's in the pipeline, or relocation, or family planning. Okay, for the next 5 years after marriage, we're not having children. We want to chase our career to a level where, okay, we're comfortable financially, and then the children can start rolling. Sit down and plan together. Don't assume, because sometimes family extended family will assume that the moment you're married, 1 year after, if they don't see babies, there's something wrong. There's something wrong in that marriage. Sorry, guys. You know, everybody's looking at you 2 years into that marriage, no child. Hey, family meeting. They will call a family meeting not knowing that you and your husband have sat down to say 5 years, you're pursuing career, you want to do this, get a house, comfortable, and all of that. They will not think that maybe that was your plan, but just see that there's a problem. You're married 2 years and no child. Hey, there has to be a problem. So anyways, discuss your plans together, whatever they might be, and don't just assume your partner knows. For some women, they just believe once they are married, by 1 year they need to be carrying their baby. If you really love you, babe, you help each other. Well, if you really love your babe, I guess that's what you're trying to write. Yeah, you help each other. There's no harm. Help each other to make life easier for both of you. There's no harm. If you had to cook, does not reduce you as a man. If you had to, I know of men who would cook, and I know of women who would cook. It doesn't matter as long as we're not starving. There's food, but nobody to cook. That's even another thing altogether. So just ensure you plan together. You're on the same page at every level you find yourself. Once you were courting, now you are married without children first, chasing career, talk about things. Okay, honey, we planned 5 years before we start having children, but I think we're comfortable now. Do you think maybe we can, try having babies now? Sit down and talk about it. Like, actually, I've been thinking about it. Why not? Okay, let's do it. Or I still feel we should wait another year or so. Just sit down and talk and plan together. That way, everybody's on board. And one thing again I'll mention is self-care. Self-care. Prioritize self-care to manage stress and maintain overall well-being. Okay, exercise, hobbies, and relaxations are essential for both partners to recharge and maintain a positive outlook. My grandpa learned me cook. I'm telling you. Oh, your grandpa. Oh, my father taught me how to cook. I know, I can relate with that. My father taught me how to cook. Even so, some dishes I really don't like eating, I had to learn to cook it when I was much younger. So I can relate with that. So guys, in that balancing of things, always remember self-care. For some women, they might be thinking in their head, I wish I could go have a spa massage and things like that. But they're always wishing. They never do it because they're not thinking that much, in terms of self-care. Don't just think of activities. Make sure you plan and do them. The way you plan and do other things, plan and go and do them. This can help you, maintain a positive outlook because you're more relaxed. You look after yourself. You take care of yourself, your spouse, your children, and all of that. And life is good. And finally, I will say this: seek professional help. If balancing marriage and career becomes particularly challenging, trust me, I have heard a lot in my short life here on earth. When it becomes particularly challenging, consider seeking help from a therapist or a counselor because they will always have strategies how you can cope, how you can navigate things such that it makes life easier for both of you. Professional guidance can provide strategies for managing stress, improving communication, and resolving conflicts rather than just, shouting at each other, being angry, you're not listening, they're not hearing, you're talking, nobody's listening, and things like that. It could get toxic sometime, and we don't want that. So if you feel there's so much you can't handle, you can seek professional help just to help balance things. It doesn't have to be forever counseling, but just in the meantime till you get things sorted. Annie, thanks for joining. So navigating major life's transition. Guys, the topic today is marriage and career. Marriage and career, balancing those two. So major life's transitions such as having children, relocating for a job, or dealing with illness can add additional layers of complexity to balancing marriage and career. During these times, there are some things you can do as well so that things does not go out of place. There's always transition, like I said, in that marriage and career relationship. Like I gave an example of someone who married a spouse They never met them as a career person, and now 2-3 years into the marriage they want to pursue a career, and you're like, what changed? Why now? Nah. That's a transition for your spouse and a transition for both of you, meaning something will have to give way when somebody wants to now pursue a career. So all of these things, you need to hear it. You cannot deny it, because this is life, this is growth, this is someone trying to aspire to be better in life. So during these times, you need to stay flexible. Stay flexible, be prepared to adapt and make temporary changes to your routines and priorities. Imagine you're only the sole winner, the breadwinner all the time, and now your spouse said, let me pursue a career so that I can contribute financially. How is that not a good thing? Yeah, I feel it's a good thing anyways. So flexibility is very crucial for navigating major life challenges without causing undue stress on your relationship. When you process that, oh, my wife or my husband wants to chase this career, okay, what does that entail? What do I need to do? What do I need to adjust? So a lot of things like that, you still need to sit down and talk about it. But stay flexible. Again, reevaluate your priorities. So regularly reassessing your priorities and making adjustments when needed, because for every transition you need to make adjustments here and there so that you can both be comfortable in that relationship. Recognize that different phases of life may require different balance between career and marriage. Different phases. Imagine maybe the husband, got this big time job and lives in the city far away, and you just say, honey, why don't we move to that city to save us this commuting, blah blah blah, and since I'm not working at the moment, I can pick up a job. Sit down and talk about things, because there needs to be some readjustment, and both of you have to be on board with this. Thank you so much, Yuda. Thank you guys for liking the live. So again, maintain a team mentality. Don't say, oh, is their job taking them out, I can't be bothered. No. It has to be a team. How do I fit in? What can I do to make it a good transition? So approach transitions as a team together, whether it's your spouse or yourself. Approach it as a team. Share your concerns, your hopes, your fears, and work together to find solutions that will benefit both of you. If you think, okay, relocating, for the sake of career, because of the prospects and what have you, it's good. But always sit down and talk, especially those planning to go into a marriage relationship. Don't wait until you're inside that marriage before you start talking about certain things. Hey, I'm telling you, I can tell you from experience. Look, guys, things will change. Things will not remain the way they are. Even if you courted for 7 years, the moment you're married, that is a transition on its own. And it will require some adjustments. It will require to maintain some certain life balances and all of those things. Because if it's not in place, you just find out that it's like this person is not understanding anymore. This person is not caring like they used. You just start seeing everything that you really do not want to see. You will see it there. But when you sit down and talk about your hopes, your concerns, your fears, how would this work together for the good of this family? Talk about it and don't be ashamed. I know I've been talking, so I'm going to round up now so that we can come up and just, break it apart some more, because it's very crucial. I mean, how do we put food on the table if you don't have a job, you don't have a career or something? So most families do. So this concerns quite a number of people, and God will help us really to balance things, and so we can live a better life in our marriages and also in our careers. So in conclusion, balancing marriage and career is a very dynamic and ongoing process that requires intentional effort, intentional communication, and intentional flexibility. Maybe when you guys got married, you're both at a level in your career, so life was good, and at some point you're getting promoted, more responsibilities at work and all of that. All of those things, you need to be able to talk about it, make effort to be there and understanding with one another, and be flexible. Don't be too rigid. And because when you're too rigid, you're not flexible, that's when it gets too much for you to bear. So by prioritizing open communication, setting boundaries, sharing responsibilities, and supporting each other's goals, couple can create a harmonious balance that will allow both their marriage and career to thrive. It takes all of this. That's why I say marriage is not for boys and girls. Marriage is for mature man and a mature woman. Remember, the goal is not perfection. We're not looking for a perfect marriage or perfect career, but rather a balance that works for both partners and allows them to grow together in both their personal and professional lives. This has to be balanced. Guys, I just want to say thank you for hearing me, and I hope this talk has provided valuable insights and strategies for balancing marriage and career, at least to a level. So if we can take these ideas on board, I mean, there are some other more positive ones out there. I can't, like I said, I can't mention all of it. And we take all of this, at least the few ones I've mentioned and the ones I'm still going to hear from you guys, and apply them to our lives. I believe this can help foster both a fulfilling marriage and a successful career. It takes work. Everything in life you have to achieve, you have to put in the work, the effort. Change will come, transitions will come, sickness can come. Remember last week we talked about marriage and sickness. Things happen. And if you're not flexible enough to adjust and readjust and talk about things and, be open and honest about your feelings and all of those things, it will create a problem in that marriage. No, you're not talking, you just assume this person knows what I'm doing or what I'm going to do. No, we have to communicate. Whether if you have to text, you'll get running late or whatever, you have to make that phone call to your spouse. But you need to communicate so that they know where you're at, because we have to be responsible for one another and we need to be held accountable for each other all the time. That was what we signed up when we went into that marriage institution. Victoria, thanks for joining. You're welcome. So my main question to us today is it okay for couples to pursue their career at the same time in that marriage? Is it okay to pursue their career at the same time in that marriage? That's my question to us. But like I say, feel free to bring your perspective.
The promise, the future, and life. Let the light that's within me shine to the whole world, Light. Let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Let's see so far. So guys, that is my talk for today. The topic is marriage and career. So you are welcome. Best girl, I see you. Edward, thanks for joining. Please send an invite. Oh, I'm not playing match today. I don't know who wants to play a match. We're not playing match today. Yuda, finally, you're able to join in today. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining, Yuda. You're welcome. So I'm going to start off with Edward. I don't know if you want to, share your perspective, or you want to start with the question. Is it okay for couples to pursue careers at the same time in their marriage relationship? It's up to you which angle you want to share with us today. So you're welcome. How are you today, Edward? I hope you're there. You have to unmute so we can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, how are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. Please, I'm at work. I'll get back to you, okay?
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you for that. You're welcome to Insight. I want to hear your perspective about this topic. I mean, even if it's not happened to us or we're not experiencing this, we may have seen mom and dad, back in the day chasing career, Do you think they manage it well? So we have, uncles, aunties, we can share, whatever experience we know as well, so that we can have a better understanding. So, best girl, how are you? I hope you can speak where you are today. Let's see. You have to unmute. Good evening. How are you? Are you there? Good evening. Okay, thank God. So I don't know what your contribution is to the topic today. Let's hear from you. Mila for Christ, thanks for joining. You have to unmute. Best girl, you have to unmute, except if you can't speak where you are at the moment. It's kind of breaking. Yes, I can. Yes, yes, go ahead. Oh, I think maybe the location where you are, you might have to change your location. Can you? Yeah, it's a bit poorly, but you can speak. Yeah, yeah, it's the network. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's better now, please. Thank you. Yes.
You're talking about career and marriage.
Yeah.
Some persons doesn't like their wife working or doing anything, while some likes it
Okay.
because it assists the family. But the thing is, when you hear the reasons why some men doesn't like their wife to work, it's very funny.
Wow.
Some of us do things out of stubbornness. Some men will be like, "Don't work.
Mm.
You earn more than me. For that, you'll not have respect." Some will be like, "Don't work. If you got the other men will see you."
Wow.
Yeah, that is some of the reason. Okay, but that's what we're talking about now is balancing it with our career.
Mm-hmm.
I will just give an opinion. A way you can balance your career with your marriage is, you've said it all, scheduling your time.
Mm.
If you have children that goes to school, that comes back after school, and they'll have their home package to do
Yeah.
and other things, you have to cook.
Mm.
The thing is, you have to write a timetable for yourself, if
Oh, yeah.
possible.
Yes. Why
Write a
not?
timetable for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
a time from so hour to so hour, this should be done. From so time to so time, this should be done. And then remember, it depends on the kind of job you do. If you're working for somebody, it's
Yeah.
going to be easy for you to just decide to go off. If you're working from morning 7 a.m. to let me say 5 p.m., you cannot just wake up and tell your boss you're going home like that. You understand? So I think the best thing is, God have the need. We need to have an understanding partner, and
Oh,
also
yeah.
pray to God to give us somebody that will understand, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not everybody that will take it. You understand? Now that's just, if you're doing your own business, it will be a bit easier for you to leave the shop, run back to the house, and do one or two things, go back to the shop, or probably take the children to the shop with you and then attend to them. In fact, it's not really easy.
No. Is it?
Managing career and marriage
Marriage.
is not really easy. But if you have an understanding partner and a helpful one that does not see himself as a god of your life and that of the children, it will be very easier for you. But if you don't have a partner that understands that sometimes the schedules is tight, it causes misunderstanding a lot. Sometimes it brings separation in most homes, because they'll be like, this place is dirty, that place is dirty, blah blah blah. They always complain that probably don't have time to cook and the rest. So that will bring a quarrel. But if you have an understanding man that knows that this woman has been busy since morning, and then I think this time she's broken down. Sometimes if you even see some persons probably cooking in the kitchen and dozing off because the day during the day has been very tight for them. So if you have a sibling that is less, probably is through school and maybe looking out for job, it can bring the person to the house to assist in some. Probably looking after the children while you go to work, if possible. If your husband will not take an advantage to do something nasty, you can bring your sister or your brother to the house to assist you in some certain things. Or probably let her stay in the shop while you go to the house and fix one or two things and run back to the shop. You understand? But whereby I know of a person that does not that have not learned her own she does not actually know what she wanted to do before she got married. It's when she got started learning her own work now. She calls me to complain that it's not easy. She have two kids and she's learning this stylist. She wants to be a stylist and a nail tech and makeup artist at the same time. You know, her husband complained that she used to mess up the house. She is in her own angle. She's complaining that she's not taking care of the children, go to learn her work and come back, cook, go to the market and the rest. She'll sew clothes and leave it. She'll be able to meet up. You understand? So I think I advise the younger ones to actually learn what they want to learn before they get married. So it will be easy. Because as when she learned what she was supposed to do when she was single, before giving birth to two children, it will be easier for her to have a shop. But now that her children are going to school, she will come back and cook, go to work, you know. As means the shop is hard, it will be easier for her, you know, to carry her children back to her shop or probably take them to the husband. Because the husband is stay at home dad, can take back to the children, or the husband go pick the children and go to your shop. But since it's not really easy for her now, I advise younger ones that have not gotten into the marriage yet like we do to actually make their haze before the sunshine, make the haze when the sunshine, before night covers. They should look for what to do, learn their skills before getting into marriage.
Thank you. Carry on, please. I just
In
have to.
that,
I hope they're
in that way
listening.
now, in that way now, the man that wants to marry will know that yes, this person is this is person. This is what she used to do before I got married to her. You should know that when you marry her, she'll have 4 hours to stay outside before coming back to the house. You know, but when you don't, when your husband doesn't know that you do that kind of 15 before marrying him, and that's what you want to do. Imagine, you know, makeup artists they do travel sometimes. They can leave their home and travel and stay 2 days for wedding. And imagine your husband never knew that how it's going to be, and he register you to go and learn how to do makeup. And when you want to travel, you be like, no, don't travel. When you go there, you misbehave. You understand? Or you didn't tell me that's how it's going to be. Oh. You don't tell me that that's how it's going to be when we are cutting mine. How come now you want to start traveling, you know? So as when you've done those kind of things earlier, you will know that yeah, sometimes my wife do travel for 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes she sit out late nights, you understand? So I still bounce back to what I say. Every young man should equally sit down, discuss with the girl who want to marry, know what she wants to be, or know what she's doing for a living. Then ask questions. How does this your work operate? How many hours do you stay out? Do you travel sometimes? You know, let there be a communication earlier before you get into commission. That was my own contribution.
Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, because sometimes we don't think about it. You know, we don't really think about it. We're just caught in, I'm in love, you're in love. I wonder what couples really talk about, especially when you know you're going to marry this woman, you're going to marry this man. You know, some people, they don't have the privilege of having premarital counseling. However, these are things they need to talk about when they're courting. If you don't have a career now, do you see yourself pursuing one? And what do you think it will be? Some people don't even know, just like this example you gave us. So God will help us to navigate things. That's why I say you have to be flexible. Some jobs are demanding. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just demanding. So how do you now manage that job, that career with your marriage? That is the essence of this talk today. Sometimes it seems there's no way out. I've known of women who have to give up their career for the sake of their marriage. You know, they sit and talk about it, not that somebody forced them. And some would think outright, this thing right now, I have young children, I might not be able to do. I tell you what, one thing I've learned, and I was at a gathering and I heard this as well, that look, women, when you get married, especially in your 20s or 30s, start having your children. What you can do there is not priority as such. I might be wrong, don't get me wrong. When these children are grown, a time will come that You can even still pursue career. You can do this because you don't need to change pampers for any child. You don't need to make milk. Even those children are the one cooking for themselves and for you. So there will always be time, but you have to talk about things. Is it okay with you? So thank you so much for that contribution. Yuda, can I hear you today? How are you? Good to have you here.
Good evening, house. Good evening, everybody.
Well, welcome.
Okay.
So you've been putting some, gist on there. So I really want to hear from you, your take on this topic. Thank you.
Okay, let me start. First thing, English is not my mother language, so
All right,
I'm
it's
not
fine.
I'm
We
not
will
so well
understand.
good in English, but I'm gonna try to do my best.
Okay, thank
Uh,
you.
the reason I told you when you start to dating with each other, it is always to try. Everybody have a dream what they want to be before you meet each other. So when you meet each other, it's not only I love you, you are so beautiful, of you are handsome, oh my goodness. No, no, not only that. You have to say, okay, if you're together after 5 or 10 years, what you think we're gonna marry, right or not? How much children you want, or what career you, what talking different way. So I have experienced that because I'm start very young in that time, and I have already 5 growing children. It's a long story, but I try to make it short. So
Okay.
the most thing what I'm telling you that is stories, communication is very important because then the other part, the other one know how you think, what you want, how to feel, if it's possible or not. Discuss always about it. So I'm coming from a broken family. My dad was not at home with my mom. My dad like women. He had more than 1,000 women. It's impossible, but you understand what I mean. So I grew up without a dad at home, only my grandpa. My grandpa was an example for me. So, and then I tell myself, when I'm growing up, I don't want to be like my pa, a lot of women. Woman is nice, beautiful, but not so much. One is okay, of maybe two, but not three, four, five, six, seven. But I prefer one. So when make a decision for myself, so when I meet my first girlfriend in that time, we're talking about, say, listen, what you think about blah, 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 is that's fake. Yeah, she said, I never think about it. Say now, okay, if we are go together, how much children do you want? So I was very curious to know about it because we are only two, me and my sister. So I always dream of have a big family. So 12 brothers and sisters, but I don't have that. So I think when you marry, if my wife wanted, I want to have 10 or 12 children. So when I'm telling her that, she said, "What? Are you crazy? You want to kill me?" So then already there's a point that this one I want more maybe 4 or 5, not 12. Okay. So you discuss about this, already. Okay, then you're talking about, so okay, when you finish school, what career you want to do? You go further, or you study, or no matter what. No, and yes, the person tell you for okay, I want to study, or I gonna make career. So then you're talking about each other. So fun when the children coming, whose person stay home, or both of us have to work. But before both of us have to work, you have to make a choice why you have both of us have to work. So if you want to live, how you call it, say, luxury, big house, 2 times vacation, and
Yeah.
you name it, both of you have to work. But if you are humble, you are happy with one car, maybe after 2 years vacation, you don't have both of you have to work. So we are talking about it. And those then when they realize, so no, we don't want, both of us don't want to be luxury life, normal. So one of us have to stay home for the child because we don't got children for the other one to growing up for you. So that kind of thing you start to talk. And the most important, I remember my generation, when a boy fall down or something happen, he start cry. Don't cry, don't cry. Boy, don't cry. Boys, don't cry.
Don't cry.
What
Yeah,
kind
no.
what
Nah.
kind of you bring to the child? That I don't blame my ancestor before me, but that is the reason. I say that child, no matter as a girl or a boy, have feeling. You can have pain. You can cry. So when I have child, my firstborn was boy, and I start to cry. I hear the mother say to cry. I say, hey, don't say that. He is a human being. He can cry. He have feeling. Oh, why? There is no strong. He said, no strong.
Flesh and blood.
So there's things you have to manage that. So then you're talking about, and my children growing up, and I'm telling them, I'm always be an example for them. So don't be the same like one, two, three. If you have a relationship with the one that you know, sure you want to keep going on, take it serious. Don't jump in from one of them. So you growing up your children that way, and especially the boys, because when you hear the Nigerian men don't cook and Nigeria, okay, it is. I understand that, but we are not in that. That is more than in the 90s, but we are in the 20s now. So things has changed. You can't grow in children like that. So you have to. They can say it is old west, but it's okay. But that is my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you so the courtship, like you just said, should not be I love you, and you're not talking about serious issues. What happens, when children start coming in? What happens? Those are things couples need to talk about before they enter into that marriage, because these are things that would happen. I remembered for me, there were things that you just assume, oh, it's gonna be this or that. You don't really emphatically talk about it. For example, having children. We talked about having 4 children, how we're going to space them or whatever. We really didn't talk about. And we didn't even talk, is this straight away after marriage or we will wait some years? We didn't even talk about that, so to say. And I got married before, in 2 months, I was pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, is this how it is? Like, and then it dawned on us. And then we had to start sitting down and talking and planning and things like that, which, I mean, we just assume, oh, it will be some time before this happens. But at last that happened. And we had to sit down. That's the point. Sitting down and talking about things. Don't just assume. And I was still working. And at some point, because I was first time mom, my body had never experienced that before. Goodness me, it's like I didn't own my body. This pregnancy took a toll on me. I had to be calling in sick all the time, calling in sick. At some point, I had to take few months off because the pregnancy shook me. Those are things nobody will tell you. You don't even know how your body will react. So those are things you need to talk about. Now imagine you're just laying there for meeting, throwing up, and the man is saying, "Get off, you lazy person, go and cook for me," or something. I mean, is that how we treat each other? No, I didn't say that was what happened to me, but you can imagine I had the luxury of having my younger sister come to look after me, my mom once in a while, and all of that. So not everybody have that luxury. And for the fact that you're not talking about it does not mean that life's transition will not happen. So the earlier we start talking about it, the better for us. So thank you so much, Yuda, for your contribution. I'm going to come to Mila for Price. I'm not sure if, yeah, okay, I think he's dropped off actually. Mila for Christ, good evening, and how are you? I want to hear from you, or we want to hear from you today. Mr.
I
If,
am fine. Good evening.
good evening, well done.
Good
Hello, good
morning.
evening.
I thought this good evening. I thought this should be for the married one.
Yes, it is,
This
but I mean,
discussion.
those who are planning to get married, they can listen in, because better be prepared than being, just caught up unawares. So, what's your
Okay,
take?
to me, oh my gosh, my take is that when both are dating, they should wear planned, you know. So you should know how you have to marry your friend, your best friend, the one that will look at you. Let me use myself as example. Like my wife should look at me and tell me, baby, I carried this pregnancy for a good 9 months. Help me do this thing, help me walk, help me do this. You understand? I think it will make that the family to work well. Then the other one is that the men should not see like I married her just like you said, yeah. Why should
Thanks for joining.
everything be with the woman? You don't marry your wife as you didn't get married to your wife as a housewife. It used to be those days, olden days, where we say yes, housewife. But these days, we've come to that 21st century where we see like everyone has the right to, I will stop my wife from not my wife not talking, but I will be prepared to assist her in the area where she needs my attention. I know what she really wants to, because I'm addicted to her. So I know when she needs my help, I know need one, but yet she need my attention.
Mila
So it
Fulbright,
will make
can you hear
it
me?
work. For men who are saying that they will not want their wife to work, maybe fish or whatever.
Mila, your network is
Have
breaking. Your
established
network is
wife
breaking. If you can hear me,
so that will not work.
your network is breaking.
And I do that I don't trust my.
I don't know what is going on. Mila, you might have to drop. I'm not sure you can hear me, but we can barely hear you because it's breaking up. Mila, if you can hear me, you might have to drop and come back because the network I can see is just one bar. And I'm enjoying your talk, your submission, because it makes a lot of sense. Mrs. Williams, good evening. Thanks for joining. Okay, you can't talk. I see that. Thank you so much, ma. Mila, we can't hear you. So you might have to maybe come off and then come back in. Hopefully that would work. I'm trying to even expand my box. I don't know. I learned this last week. Okay. Thank you, moderator. So we're talking about marriage and career, balancing the two so that it doesn't affect each other. MZ Florence, thanks for joining. I always give my talk. I've given my talk and we're just, hearing from people. Okay, so let's see. Mila, you're back. Hopefully it's better. Welcome back, Mila. Thank you, Ife, for
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hopefully it stays this way. Please, I hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you don't want your wife to work, be ready to establish her. To look for a good business she will like. If she's the type that wants a very that's a supermarket or whatever business she can do it for her, so that you will not be complaining that my wife is like this or my wife did this or my wife. But all I'm trying to say is that our careers, while we are facing our careers, we should not also forget about the children at home, because they need that mother to be around them. They need that mother to be around them, so that they will not maybe when the parents are not around, they will be behaving or doing things that will affect their future. You understand? So They need to be guided. So it's very, very important. So I think the important thing about it is that, man, be ready to assist your wife in the area she need your attention.
Please, can you
Don't
repeat
just,
that? Can you repeat that again, please?
man, man, be ready to assist your wife always in the area she need your attention. While you're dating your wife, those things you used to tell her, this, I will help you
Follow,
in
follow,
these
follow, follow,
areas, I will assist you, I will
follow,
be there
follow,
for you. I will be there for you. Make
follow,
sure you
follow.
do that promise. You keep to that promises so that
Every tap, follow.
the marriage will work well. You understand? So, like for me,
I'm on.
I can't promise without doing it. I will help my wife. I will be there for her. I will support her dream. I will make sure I do I will what she wants me to do. I can't see my wife as my housewife. You
No.
understand? So if she need anywhere she need my attention, I will give it to her. You understand? So that is all I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's part
that's
of
my
what.
contribution. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mila for Christ. It takes two to tango. It takes two. Whether you're both pursuing career or whether it's one, that's what I said, and exactly what you said as well. Communication, you have to sit and talk about things. Don't just assume, like you said, or somebody else said. Some men, they don't want their wives to work. And some like this, they want their wife to be called career woman. So they will push her out to go and work, whether she wants to or not. But that's not going to bring a healthy relationship. So you still have to sit and talk about it. When children now start coming into this marriage and career, it's another ball game altogether. You have to adjust. You have to be flexible. You have to put in the time, the work, the energy. It takes two to raise those children. So you can't just abandon them. Okay, you stop working, woman, stay with them, and that's it, and that's it. I'm not sure how long that can help or last. So thank you for your contribution, and I'm coming to you now, Ify. Or okay, no, I think best girls spoke. Ify, how are you? Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening. You guys taught me last week to expand my box. I've
Yeah.
been pressing and pressing. The thing will not go more than this today. I don't know why.
What do you want to do?
So I want it to be 8 boxes, but it's not bulging at all.
But that's what it is already. 2, 4, 6, 8. It's 9 already. So you can't really add anything more.
On my screen, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Really? I can see 9 here, including your box. Yeah.
Are there people in there?
Yeah, there are Best Girl, Yoda, Ify, Miss Williams, Mr. Williams, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, sorry. Mila for Christ, and then 3 empty boxes.
I can't see those empty boxes. Honestly.
Really? So what you can do,
Yeah.
you can minimize your own, and then so click on your box.
Yeah, but
There are 3 empty buses here.
oh, I think maybe
Yeah.
my network is frozen or something because the box is there, but it's not allowing me to press it.
So that's what I'm saying. When you click on your box, you can see all those little stars at the right top right, and click on the smallest one. Just click on the one of them, and it will shrink you back to normal boxes. Then you can go back again. Maybe you will be able to show.
I think something is gone wrong. Let's see.
It's network. It
I
does.
need to switch. Maybe it's frozen because it's
Or,
not
or
even
you
holding
or you
at-
can click on any of our boxes, and then in kind of expand us or put us in a big screen. Maybe if we go if after a while you go back, maybe you will be able to show.
Okay, let's see.
So yeah, go back now. You might be able to show. So now what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes.
2, 4, 6. Okay, 7 boxes. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go back to that.
So put yourself in a big screen now and see what you can get.
If it's gonna budge.
Yeah.
Now let's see. All this technology with its palaver.
There's always the beginning time. You take your time to get to master it.
So
And after,
okay, you can carry on talking. I'll try and fiddle with it, and hopefully, okay. Oh, something.
okay. Yeah, so now it's 7 now. If you want to add, all you need to do, go to guest, go to setting,
Yeah.
and then choose a different kind of grid layout. And then you can add more people. Exactly. You see, so it's working now.
Yeah, I think it was frozen before because it wasn't even bulging at all.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's what I want. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. So you're talking about marriage and career. I mean, one thing about marriage is that a lot of us are selfish, you know, and that's the biggest challenge in marriages nowadays, selfishness. Because let's assume, for instance, I'm single, I want to get married, and I met a woman that is working at a bank and she's a manager, or she's doing her best to become a manager of that bank. And then we get married, I tell her, okay, babe, now we are married, you need to stop doing all this your waka, job. This is somebody that have been doing that, right? And you didn't communicate it when you guys were still dating that you want a housewife.
Yeah.
And that's why it's very important when you are cutting, when you are getting to know someone, when you are dating, for you to lay all your, whatever you have in mind on the table.
Yeah.
Let that person make an informed decision, not like tomorrow you are married and you say, okay, you need to stop working. I don't like you working as a banker. She was a banker when you met her.
Dumb as hell to pick up.
So he could have communicated that at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like if you have an idea that if you have an agenda of getting a second wife before you even marry the first one, you need to communicate whoever that is the first wife, or who is going to be the first wife. See, I have plans of getting married to more than one wife. Are you happy with that? I believe in open kind of discussion. Be able to communicate. Okay, I wouldn't want. You can tell your partner, I wouldn't want you to work if you get married. And the person will say, okay, why? Oh, because I make enough money for us. Oh, really? It's up to that person to say, okay, I don't really mind. And all these things, they are the things you have to communicate. I think the last time I had a topic here, I talked about all this effective communication. And I think a lot of us who don't really understand what it means to have an effective communication skills. It's not just talking, it's also listening to understand. You need to listen to understand before you speak. And before you speak, you need to, ask yourself questions in your head if what you're about to say is going to make sense, if it's going to add value to what has been said already. And these are the things about effective communication, being logical instead of emotional, because all these things are very important. So whatever you are not able to communicate to your partner to be when you guys were still dating, and then you get married and suddenly you are hell-bent that this is how it's going to be rest assured that may end up destroying your relationship. And that's the thing. So when it comes to career and marriage, it's always good to find a balance. If I met someone that want to grow in her career ladder and I have it at the back of my mind that I don't want a working class wife, I've got to communicate to her. And I say, okay, I really like you and I would like to spend the rest of my life with you, but there's one thing that I would like us to talk about. And she would say to me, oh, babe, okay, what is that? I said, well, this is your work thing. Do you think you will ever stop working if we start having kids? And it's up to her to tell me, oh, I'm not really planning on that. Of course, things do change, but it's always good to have that foundation at the beginning. Don't wake up at the middle of the night and say, I've been thinking. No, you have thought that before you even met her or before you met him. So it's very important for us to know who we are, the things that we need in a partner or from a partner, and the things that we need in our relationship, communicate it from the onset so that the person knows the decision they're making. And also, if you agree, if they communicate that to you and you agree, okay, I'm going to be a housewife, or okay, I'm going to be a house husband, because there are house husbands nowadays. Do not wake up tomorrow and start complaining. you know. If for whatever reason you decide to change your mind and say, okay, you don't really feel like staying at home, then you need to find a loving way to convince your partner, okay, I've tried this sitting at home, being a house husband or housewife thing. It hasn't really worked. I would like to have nowadays you can get a lot of part-time jobs that you can work from home. So, and a good partner will support you. You know, they will find a way to support you. And I mean, most especially if you live in this Western world where kids are quite a lot of it's like a domestic.
Childcare alone will
Exactly. It costs a lot. If you're paying
very
for,
expensive.
I mean, if you are coming to pick your kids at, let's say, 3:30 in the afternoon, and you miss that and you come at 6, they're going to start charging you. You know, when they charge you £20 per hour from that 3:30 to 6, you know how much that is going to cost you every day. You know, so sometimes you've got to sit down and, you know, think about it or say, okay, babe, I will support you to learn a tech job that you can work from home or that kind of thing, or whatever it is that you love doing. There must be a balance where you can work 3 days a week or 2 days a week, all these things, you know. The Bible said that two will become one. And when you become one, you need to lay all your cards on the table. Sit down and analyze it. Don't disadvantage one person and advantage the other person, because there comes a time you'll be feeding the demon. I don't want to use the word demon, the angel of that in that person. And one day they'll wake up and say, okay, you know what? I'm done with this thing just because of that. You know, so yeah, effective planning and communication and everything, all these things, they go hand in hand. They work. Don't be the person that say when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. No, plan how to cross the bridge so that when you get to the bridge, there's already a provision on how to cross the bridge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. You know, we can't shy away from not talking about things and now expect it to come. And, you know, some people say, okay, even if you plan 5 years before you start having babies, how do you know that the first pregnancy will not be triplets? Have you thought of that? You know, so many things can happen when you don't even now talk about having children. Just like us, we're like, oh, we're married, life goes on and all. Before I know, in 2 months I was pregnant. I'm like, we didn't talk about this. We didn't even plan anything. We didn't, you know, it just happened. And that one taught us. And we were ready, very ready before we went for the second one, because we talked about it. So life will happen. It will meet you. There's certain transitions you will go through in marriage, but if you're not mentally ready for it, it will just throw you back. And that's why it seems like, just like you don't want to say there's a monster in this person, can they not empathize? Can they not, whatever, you know? But we have to learn to manage things. And how can we do that? We have to sit and talk about issues.
Yeah.
You are from a home. You've seen how your mom and dad live their lives. Or maybe some may say, okay, I lost my dad when I was young, or that. There are some people in our lives that we could emulate, you know, their life, their story, their marriage. You can see, how did Uncle so handle this? You know, because the wife, she's always traveling and they lived happily. That means that we're talking about it. Because I can't imagine a woman who has a big business, she's into maybe fabrics or what have you. She's always going to Dubai, going to America, buying stuff China today. And the husband, hey, is crazy in love with this woman. And you, as a man or another man, is thinking, me, I can't understand this. So my wife, she's gone. Before I turn this, she's gone. So every home needs to sit down, put things on the table, analyze it, reevaluate things, and make it work, because it can work. So thank you so much. William says she can't talk, which I can't understand. I really want to hear your voice. It's been a while. So I'll come to Daily Pay with Tola. I think she's there. Yes. How are you? Good evening, sis. Oh my God.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Long time no see.
Yes. How's the
Hey.
family?
We bless God. We thank God. How are you doing, sis?
I'm fine. We
I
give
think
God the
you.
glory.
Thank you so much for joining in. I think you'll be, because I know her, she's a career woman, So I wonder what your take will be on this, balancing these two, marriage and career. And it's not just for people in marriage. People are planning. Some people's wedding is in a week or two time. If you're listening, please, if you haven't started this kind of talk, start now before it's too late. So thank you so much. Let's hear from you, sis.
Yeah, I think most of us, my generation, I'm in my late 50s. I think most of us were not prepared for this kind of conversations, marriage and career. And it's like each person came into the relationship having their own expectations. And where the expectations do not align, then there are issues. Or where
Yeah.
you just simply don't talk about things and think that things are just going to happen automatically, but of course it doesn't happen. And then there are issues within the relationship. So I think that one lesson or one thing that we can pass on to the next generation is what you are doing now, to say we need to talk about it. We need to have our expectations, but we need to be able to communicate it. And I want to address women and ladies more importantly, because I found out that we as women, or perhaps it's just me, we don't voice out how we're feeling as much as we think we do. We don't actually communicate our expectations. We we are the ones that just think that, our spouses, our boyfriends, our fiancé should know that, oh, I deserve this, but we don't communicate it. Now, some people will say if you have to communicate it, then it's like you're asking or you're nagging, but there should be a way to express those things. There should be a way to talk about those things, because it would be unfair on the other party to say, oh, he should know that this is what I need, because he doesn't read
A lot of
minds.
magicians, they're mind readers.
Exactly. So we should be able to communicate it. We should say things like, oh, this is what I would like to be. 5 years from now, this is what I expect our relationship to look like. And the other person will be taking notes. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. They will be taking note. They will listen. We need to talk more, communicate about everything. And then again, as Christians, I believe that your audience is Christian. As Christians, we think that there are some things that are taboo that we shouldn't talk about.
Ah.
How do we talk about sex? Especially when you are in that relationship, you are fiancé, and you're already planning to get married, maybe the dates are set and all of that. You should talk about those things. It doesn't happen automatically. You can't just be looking at each other during the honeymoon. You needed to have talked about it. You needed to have talked about each person's experience as far as sex is concerned, and who should initiate, all of those kind of conversation. It may be a bit awkward to start with if it's something that you've never talked about before, or it's something that you haven't done before, but there is a need for that openness and that communication. That is what is lacking. And that's why, there are different expectations. You now get married and the guy says, oh no, I want you to be a stay-at-home mom. And the woman is like, oh, I don't think I can do that. I went to university, my parents trained me for a reason. Why should I be a stay-at-home mom? It's because they have not communicated about it. And also, there is the trust factor. If I believe and I trust that my husband is capable of taking care of the needs of the family, it will not be difficult for me to take, and I believe that he has my best interest at heart. It will not be difficult for me to say, okay, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be there for the children. I want to make sure they have the best upbringing possible, because I trust that my husband can take care of us financially, because I trust that he has my best interest at heart. Not the situation that we see that the woman is a stay-at-home mom, and then, to even buy her own feminine needs, she has to beg and she has to ask and say, oh, I don't have sanitary towel and this and that. That's demeaning. That is demeaning. But where we have a situation where there is trust, where there is love, where there is understanding, and that's where I keep coming back to communication. Because if we don't communicate, we cannot just create a relationship that trusts or a relationship that love. Everything starts with communication. When we're dating, before the guy says, oh, can I have your number, or let's go and have a cup of coffee together, it all started from communication. And then when we get into the relationship, we forget how to communicate. What's wrong? We need to go back to the basics and continue that communication, and also teach our children that it's important to communicate their feelings. It's important to communicate their needs. Career is a good thing, but it's not the end all and be all. People are into business and into all of those things. But especially for us as women, we ought to also think about career and opportunity to make money that also gives us time to look after our children, to look after the family, to be able to create a safe place for our families to grow. Because at the end of the day, if the husband is doing 9 to 5 and going all hours of the day, and the wife is doing 9 to 5 and going all hours, who's going to raise the children? Especially in the Western world, there's no house help, there's no driver, there's no this, there's no that.
Uncle.
Nothing. It's just you and you alone. So we need to, assess our values. Yes, I want to have a career, but at the same time, I want to have a family. What can I do? Can I work flexible? Can I work part-time? Can I do an online business that means that I am earning a good income, but I am still there and present for my family? These are questions we need to ask ourselves, and we need to communicate one to another if we're in a relationship. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My goodness, you can see from wealth of experiences here and there. Communication. In fact, I don't think there's a talk that I bring here that communication doesn't come up. In that relationship, even on my Monday programs, communication is key. And one of the things with couples is, just like you said, that thing, honestly, was it a few weeks back, we're talking about it. Why is it that when you're courting, you will talk. It's 2 a.m., you're still talking. But now you're in that marriage relationship. Barely 5 minutes is like you can't talk anymore. It's like, what happened? Is it that the zeal of chasing each other is gone, or I don't know, but God will help us. But whichever way, like I said, those transitions will come. And how do we address it if we're not talking? Because I can't just assume my husband knows what's going on in my mind. Now he knows me as a career woman. I don't want to work anymore. I want to stay with my children. He should see that I've been missing work for the last few days. He should know. She said it. We need to express it. Don't just condemn yourself before you're condemned. If you feel the need to stop work for however long, sit and talk with your husband, because you have to look at the finances. How will it implicate? How will he balance up? What are the things? There's a lot to talk about. You can't just assume, and you can't just make such decisions. So communication is key. Before, in between, there's no after. Until death do you part. God helping you. Thank you so much for that contribution. I'm coming to, I think I may have to, I have a few people there, but the boxes are full. I may have to bring some of us down just so we can, expand this topic today, marriage and career. And like I said, for those who are aspiring to get married, please sit and listen. Take notes. The things you haven't discussed with your Olomi, better start talking about it now before it's too late or before the thing has hooked your neck. So let's be mindful. I have Lily, you're here first. Thank you so much for your patience. I really want to hear from you. What is your take on this topic? Okay, Mila for Christ. All right, thank you so much. So Lily, are you there? Let's hear from you today. Lily, can you talk?
Good evening. Yeah,
Evening.
I'm
How are
here.
you? Okay, welcome. I bet you said
I'm
you're
fine.
learning, so it's
I
good.
don't really have much experience because
Oh, okay. It's fine. Yeah, let's
hello?
hear you. Hello, we can hear
Can you hear
you.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I said I don't really have much experience because I'm not married, so but the
Oh,
main
okay.
thing is communication. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
In whatever relationship you are in, you need to communicate well. Just like what Ify said that about couples discussing about the future and all that. So I believe that that's also good. But another thing, sometimes you can. What if the man says, "I want you to be a housewife," and along the line, some men tend to change, and from then that's when problem starts. There will always be
Okay, you
problems.
mean if
So
you're
I
asked
don't
to
know. I
be a
don't think.
housewife and you don't want to be a housewife, or what do you mean?
No, it's not for me. I'm just
Yeah, I know
generally.
you're
What
speaking
if along
generally.
the
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So some men will say, I want my wife to be a housewife.
Okay.
What if along the line the man changes? Because we women, we have our needs. How long are we going to continue asking our husbands, I need this, I need that, I need to take care of myself, my hair, my nails, and all that stuff. So I don't think I support the idea of being a housewife. I can have a job or probably have my own, run my own business and close on time, take care of the kids. But being a housewife, I don't think I support that at all. I'm
Wow.
sorry, that's my own opinion.
I don't know. Everybody's
I don't
entitled to
think I
their
support it.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
what we're saying. Lily, if I may ask you, you say you're not married, which I quite appreciate for being here, but are you not planning to get married in the next future, in the nearest future?
that's our prayer. That's my
Okay.
prayer.
Good. So these are kind of talks that will also help you prepare when you're in that relationship, that courtship, to say, by the way, do you know some people, they don't talk about how many children they're going to have. And then they not get into the marriage, and the woman is like, I'm from a big family. My plan is to have 6 children, even in this 21st century. And the man will nearly pass out, will be like, from where did that come from? But you guys never talked about it. We just assumed that they should be okay with what you're okay with. As it's not even as small as that is. It's a big thing. It's a huge thing. And some women will say it's only one they want, one child. And the man will be like, do you know who I am? Odogo of my family. I need 4 boys, or I need 10 girls or something. And then the problem starts. But you guys never talked about it. You were just in that euphoria of I love you, you love me, and talk about deep issues that goes on in marriage, because at least you're going into marriage, have an idea, and then talk about these things. Not that when you not get into it, you're like, I married somebody else, I didn't marry, because you didn't talk about it. So Lily, I'll let you carry on. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the aspect of discussing about children and all that, some men, they are wired in a way. But it's also depend on if you are dating somebody, are you dating for marriage? Because some people, when you ask them, babe, how is it going? What are we doing? Some men tend to think you are too forward, or probably you are trying to push
Yeah.
them into something they are not
Yeah.
ready for.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes I don't really know how to put it, but that's why most women, I don't know, for me, most of us, we always shy away from talks like that to avoid being, say, maybe probably she's too desperate or she's too forward.
That's an
So
assumption.
what I learned to do now, for me, what I learned to do is if I meet somebody, I'll just ask you, I'll go straight to the point, because I don't want to start something that I know that I can't finish, or probably along the line we'll start having issues. So I'll just go straight to the point and ask you, what exactly do you want? So if I'm dating, I know I'm dating for marriage,
Yeah.
not just because we don't have time.
Time
So
waits for
because
no
some
one.
people they'll just be dating just for the fun of it. Then probably you don't know what the guy has in mind. You don't know what the lady has in mind. But those kind of relationship, I don't think they tend to start talking about the future. They're just dating for fun.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
sometimes it also work out. It also work out sometimes. So
Okay.
I think that's what I have
Thank you
to
so much
say.
for that.
And I'm really happy to be in this
Oh,
discussion
thank
to
you
this
so
night. This
much.
is my first time anyway.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. Yay. Good to have you here. Onoye and someone too, you said they need to change. Mila said, I only want 2 children. Please communicate that to your wife and let her know that it's 2 you're having. Then Soft says, marriage as in what perspective? People believe in so many different ways. Look, here, let's just call a spade a spade. I'm talking about one man, one woman, a husband and wife who are now together as husband and wife living in a marriage relationship, and now they're dealing with marriage and career. So my only question that I ask, but then you can bring your own perspective, is it okay for couples to pursue their careers at the same time in that marriage relationship? Is it possible? Will it work? Will it not work? What's your perspective on that? So I hope I've been able to answer you, but you can send an invite and let's hear from you as well. Thank you so much, Soph. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see who else is there. UY, you're welcome. How are you?
I'm very fine,
Okay,
ma.
it's not me.
Oh, sorry, Omoye. I knew I missed somebody. See this big box, I'm getting used to it. So sorry, UY, I'm gonna come to you. But before I even come to you, Onoye, because I know you have your encyclopedia for us already. Maybe I should get my pen and paper as well. So my puzzle for today, just to kind of bring this on a tempo low. My puzzle for today, I'm going to throw it out there. So if you know the answer to this puzzle, please feel free to answer, and then you can get the gift for today. So my puzzle is what what kind of tiles did Jesus argue about with the contractors to put in his home? What kind of tiles did Jesus argue about with the contractors to put in his home? If you know the answer, please, if you're on this panel already, you can unmute and tell us the answer. If not, we will see. Anybody that knows the answer, please come up and tell us the answer. So we can
Repeat.
carry on. Huh?
Repeat,
You guys.
please.
I should repeat
Repeat.
it. Manager, I hope you're there. Please help me put it on. What kind of tiles did Jesus argue about with the contractors to put in his home? You know, he was arguing with the contractors. This is the kind of tiles I want in my home. So what kind of tiles was he clamoring for? What kind of tiles did Jesus wanted in his home? If you know the answer, please let us hear it. Thank you. So Onoye, I'm coming to you. You might want to start with the puzzle or let's say your submission, whichever one. Welcome.
Let me try my submission first. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yeah, let's hear you. Oh, Onoye, you're
Okay, yeah,
muted.
no, I'm here. It's fine.
Okay. Guys, let's
Okay,
tap on our
yes.
screen so that TikTok will not.
So marriage and career. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me first of all go. I think your next topic should be demeaning. Well, I think one of the speakers is that English demeaning, that wife is asking the husband or partner for money. Or no. That should be our next topic. It's not demeaning,
Okay, I
because
will note
if
that. Let me
it's
note
not
that.
demeaning, if you ask your partner, your husband for money or whatever, that does not make you lose respect. And even if your partner asks you for something, that does not also make you to disrespect your partner. So asking your partner for something, he has nothing to do with demeaning, because if you didn't ask your partner, who else you want to ask? There's nobody for you to ask. So whether advice, money to buy your women toiletries and other whatever, yeah, asking your partner, no, that's not the meaning.
Yeah,
Because we see some women having this issue of
struggling with that within themselves, not to ask their husband something, and that thing is affecting them. So this can be part of the area that you see women hold on to their career. I don't want to ask my husband money, so therefore I want to work. I don't want to ask my husband for money, so therefore my husband cannot tell me to sit at home for some certain period of time when we are raising these children. So this thing of asking is affecting a whole lot of them, and they need to this thing issue. So the thing is quite simple. Even though you are a career person, marriage is a different journey on its own. That when you go into marriage, at one point in that marriage, you start bringing another generation into the world. So and these children needs to be catered for, look after, and in a natural function of a man as a woman, the woman is there to do this nurturing at that stage of the child. So if the woman is ignoring that stage of nurturing, then it's not dragging to go to work to pursue her career. That means the woman does not understand what marriage is all about before she goes into it. Because at that stage, you must look after that child. Not be bringing a child to the world, and after 6 months or 1 year, you start running to work. And then you run to work. Now you will say, okay, you and the husband will start splitting the beef for childminder and childcare. What's the point of paying childminder, childcare? Why did you just stay at home, do the paternity system, and I will say, okay, 2 years or 3 years, I will stay at home to nurture this child before the child can be able to go to school, or at that 3 years or 4 years, at least it's okay now. The child can now go to school and prepare a good arrangement. Why not just doing the discussion that hold on to the meaning, like what she used? I don't want to ask my personal.
Onoye, sorry to cut you. Somebody made a comment there. It says a woman should not have to ask before her needs are met. So if this woman knows that the husband, permits me to use the word stingy, maybe because of so many reasons people do things.
And now that leads to communication, like you guys are always saying. It now boils down to communication. So there is no way you say you cannot ask your husband something. Your husband ought to know. Your husband is not a mind reader. Someone
No,
have
but
also
what
said it
I'm
in this
saying
way.
is the man is stingy, whether you
We,
talk or not.
we are still saying the same thing now. You still have to communicate. That is why communication is still also a key again. So even though the man is stingy, there is a way you can still communicate with the man. The man will know that this thing is needed or necessary. Yeah, it's a necessity that this thing needs to be in the house. So if
They
you
are
not talk to the
responding,
man,
people are responding to you. They say some
yeah,
men
that is
don't.
fine. We agree. And so now, if the man did not, so will you stop communication? You still boil down to communication. You still have to talk with the man. So now, if I need this, I need that. If you are not providing it for me, that means, do you want me now to go back to work? You see, so it's all about things. So we should understand that even sometimes we should have that readiness, yeah, to diversify when some situations started changing, just like having children in the marriage. You should have this idea to diversify. And like some say during the dating stage of vetting, these are the things should be also be discussed about. My husband, by the time children start coming, what should be the next? Is it after 6 months I have to go back to work, or after 1 year I have to go back to work, or is there any kind of a business do I need to do from home, online business or online work that I have to take part-time work at the weekend? All these things. But just that, like someone have already said, that we do not have all these things in place at the beginning, and then we expect some kind of magic to happen. So, but if we have it in our own mind, if the woman really function in a feminism state, function in a position very well, so these things are not even something to be discussed about. The woman know automatically that she has to diversify when that time of child is coming in. And the man too, if the man is functioning well as a husband in his normal masculinity, he should also know that, okay, at this time, I should ask my wife, okay, sometimes there's money on the table in case you want to buy this thing.
I wonder,
There's
I wonder what century you're referring to right now, because we want to keep it real here, Onoye. I can see comments rolling in. It's like maybe you're talking from your own. I know you're talking from your own perspective. perspective, but we know that.
No, I'm talking for the idea men perspective, and I'm also talking from the idea women
Well,
perspective.
supposed, I guess.
Can I say something? Oh no,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
speak for yourself. You know, some men they have this mindset that they don't want their wife to be probably more richer than them. So what if she has a good job or probably a good business that she's doing before she met you? So it means she should dump that business because she's getting married to you and abandon the business and turn to a stay-at-home wife.
Okay.
It doesn't work
I
that
didn't
way.
say the woman should.
Hold on. That part you said that there's money on the table. What if there's no money on the table on a particular day? What will happen if the woman supports in the house? Because you don't expect the man to do everything.
Okay.
Sometimes, okay, what if you're cooking and your gas finish? You will not be waiting for your husband to come back. There
So
are some certain things that a woman can run on her own in the house.
is it is
The house
is it a
belongs to the
question
woman, not
you're
to the
asking
man.
me? Is it a question you're asking me to refer to, or I didn't
I
get?
am telling you. I'm telling you to speak for
life,
yourself.
life
Don't say
case
it's
scenario.
for the men. Speak for yourself, Oga.
All right. Thank you so much, Lily. Thank you. Onoye, I don't know if you want to.
He never is quarrel.
Oh, no. We
But
don't do that here. No,
but
no. Everybody's entitled to their own submission, please. But however, I mean, we feel free to relate or not relate with whatever anybody says. We're still entitled to air our views. So, Onoye, if you can read the comments as well, what you're saying, some of it, some people do not agree with it because they're seeing the different ball game altogether. And some people is the reality, and they're saying it emphatically that some men they are stingy, or some men will just command you must stay at home and look after children, fashion your career or whatever, you know. So what you have said communication, and communication obviously is key. But when it is one-sided, then where do you go from here?
now let me repeat what
Can
I
I
said.
say
Maybe
something?
maybe
Sorry.
they didn't get what I said very well. So let me repeat it again. Now I
No,
said
sir, we got what you said, though. We got what you said. I got him
no,
to
no.
talk,
You didn't.
sir.
You didn't get what I said. Let
Wait,
me say
can
it
I, can
again.
I say
Okay,
something?
let's give
No,
Onoye
it's not
just
fine.
maybe in a minute or two, Onoye, if you please round up so that because I'm mindful of time, we're running to half past. I mean, moving forward, but I'm mindful of time and there's still quite a number of people. Thank you.
Now marriage is a different ball game. It's a different journey on its own. So if the woman is a career woman during that vanity stage, you should discuss this whole issue. By the time as we're getting married, if children begins to comes in, what are the decisions? Is it 6 months or 1 year I will stay at home before I will go back to work? You discuss this one. So and when you're getting married, you should know that at one point you will have a child and you have to ready to diversify. Because if you are not ready to diversify, once children started coming in, you will have this struggle in the marriage when children started coming in. So me and you cannot be pushing career at the same time when children start coming in, because we are the natural nature of a woman to function is to nurture the child. That's the normal function of the woman in a marriage, to nurture. Now, if these children start coming in, who will now look after this child? It's two of us will still be chasing career and then bringing the money to now be paying childminder. So this is the area I say this area. I'm not telling you when there's no children. If there's no children, two of us can be working 11 hours every day. There's no child here. But if child comes in, are we still going to be doing 11 hours every day? So the woman need to diversify at this stage. That's okay. I will stay at home for 6 months or 1 year, depends on how these two partners agreed on. Then they will agree on it.
Can I come in?
All right,
FunmiRoyal.
thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Onoye. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think we've heard that clarification. Thank you. So, Best Girl, I'm going to come to you, but let me allow Daily Pay Wutala to speak, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm guessing that Onoye is not yet married. I may be wrong. But what I would like to say is also the fact that in a lot of what he's saying the woman has to diversify. I'm quoting his words. Now, what we are saying is that before we get married, we need to have these conversations. When we get married, we need to continue the conversation. And it is not about you have to diversify or he has to diversify. There is a lot of, a lot of times people want to point fingers at the other gender. Sometimes we need to point that finger inwards and say, what can I do as a woman, or what can I do as a man? Because the responsibility is for both. It's not only for the woman. Yes, it's the woman that gets pregnant. Yes, it's the woman that labors and bears the baby. But at the end of the day, when the child is born, the responsibility is for both parties. And I have seen situations in my own life where maybe the woman is earning more and the man decides to stay home with the kids. When we are talking who should stay home with the kids, and you are saying 6 months, 1 year, it's not a matter of 6 months, 1 year, because even at 1 year old, you cannot leave the child alone. In fact, until your child is legally 18, you are not allowed to leave them alone in some countries. So even when they can go to school and come back by themselves, somebody still has to be at home to receive them, to make sure they do their homework, to cook food for them, and all of those things. The conversation has to be continuous. And at some point, the man may step down. He may say, okay, let me take 1 week or so off so that I can stay with these children when they are on half time. You go to work. And the woman can say, okay, I want to take 1 year clear and stay with my baby before I go back to work. It is a continuous conversation between the two. It is not a matter of, woman, you have to diversify. Because some women can do business. I'm a businesswoman. I can do business all day long. I know how to do stuff like that. I inherited it from my mother. But there are some women who cannot sell water to save their life. You tell that woman to do business, what are you, it's just ridiculous. She doesn't know what to do. And some women, they can only do their 9 to 5. Some women, they would rather do their business. So it is still the conversation between the husband and the wife. What works for A is not going to work for couple B. And what works for some people in their 50s is not going to work for young couples in their 20s or 30s. So everybody has to find out what works for them. The only way to find that out is communication, and both parties have to be listened to, because everybody needs to have a voice in the household. And when I said earlier that having to ask for your feminine needs to be met, if I'm staying at home and my husband is bearing the responsibility, the financial responsibility for the family, I don't need to ask for my feminine needs. He should know that, okay, this is X amount for groceries. Buy this, buy that, buy that. And I would then spend the money judiciously. But if I have to come and ask, my periods are starting, no, I don't have sanitary towel. That makes me feel less than a human being. That is the point that I was making earlier on. So communication has to be constant. And we should also talk about mutual respect for each other. The way the wife respects the husband too should respect the wife as a human being.
Thank you. I was just affirming what you're saying, but I had to put the clap in because, I mean, you said a lot of things. So thank you so much, Ma. Let me come to you, best girl. Sorry for cutting you earlier, but you have the floor now. Please, let's hear from you. Thank you. Best girl, I hope you're still there. Let's hear from you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, based on what Mama just finished saying now, and what the other man said, he was saying when a man is going out, he will drop money on the table and be like, money is on the table. That is for some home. Just like what Mama just finished saying now. In some home, it doesn't happen like that. And we are emphasizing on communication. Do you know that there's some home that the husband or the man doesn't value the words of the wife, it is invalid. Even if you know that when you tell him that this you want to do now will not work out, he will just nod and go and do what is in his mind. In that situation, how do you communicate? It happens, let me say it has been happening, or it happens for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And to the woman, you've known that your talk is like nagging, or it does not place or value to the words of your mouth. How will the communication comes? When Mama just finished talking, said, communication is the best way, which is right. Everybody saying communication, which is right. But at a time, in some homes, that communication does not work. When it doesn't work like that, the man does what he wants to do, the woman does what she wants to do. You can't tell your wife to stop working at that moment and she will agree. And in that particular home, there's no how you can stop your wife from working and she will agree because you're not providing for her. So when that man was saying a woman have to give up for a while and take care of the child, the woman will never agree. I've seen where a woman give birth after 3 days, 4 days, a week started work. Take her baby to daycare. Why? Suppress birth and keep the care. Because she feels like if she stays back home, nobody provides for her. So she has to go to work.
That's somebody's
She has to
reality.
provide for herself. You understand? So, in the sense of communication, yes, it works. But it works for some persons. But some persons, it doesn't work for them. And why? Something triggers some women to be stubborn to work. It is because they've sat down to watch that nobody can assist them in anything, even their husband. So they do it by themselves. Now, we remember there is a courtship, yes. Some men may agree to certain things, probably because they needed children or they need wife. Remember that some men has mentality of you're coming to give birth to me and that is your job. I married you with my money, so you're like a property. So once they marry you, in a relationship is very sweet. Relationship is different from marriage to some persons. Relationship, they'll agree and everything. Don't let just go and wed, let's wed. They'll be on their best behavior and you marry them. And when they come into the house, you see another version of human being. And then when you behave like that, your wife brings out the inner attitude of them. They believe women have 3 characters. When they come to the marriage, they bring their character out. But you are the one that pushed them to that point. You see? I've been here listening to everybody's point, everybody's talking. So women are tough. So women cannot even talk in their own house. But it was not like that in relationship. They were communicating very well. Now when you now come and try to bring that communication back again, they will see you as a nag and you're talking rubbish, making noise. When you want to talk to your husband and say they're making noise, talking rubbish, tomorrow we look and talk. No. You keep it to yourself and then swallow it or look for who to pour your burden to and do what is in your mind. So when you think that when a woman is pregnant or a woman should sacrifice, we women we sacrifice a lot. From losing your body shape when you give birth to some persons, from entering the labor room, coming out, nursing the baby, breastfeeding your breast, getting sag and the rest, you now tell them to stay at home, not to work. It brings divorce in some homes. It brings quarrel in some homes. And you don't do what you want to do, and I do what I want to do, let peace reign. That's my own contribution, ma. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. You know, there is no one size fits all. There are some people, I think I mentioned it earlier when I was giving my talk. There are some people, even in that courtship before marriage, they will talk about certain things. But because this spouse, I'm not going to be gender biased now, either of them, they just know that this is what they want. They're not being honest in certain things. And now they're into that marriage. And you just expect what I'm thinking in my head, you know, is what this person should know to do. If you don't talk about things, I know you said in an ideal, when you're talking about ideal, like I talked about transitions in marriage, even there are transitions that will continue to happen until death will come. Whether you face it or not is another thing altogether. When you are courting is a different ball game. Now you're married. Two has become one. Respect is mutual. What is it called? Submission should be mutual as far as I'm concerned. Because for us as Christians especially, and I always talk about this, Marriage institution is a godly institution. No matter what the world wants to paint it, he has created a man and a woman to be together. And even in the if you want to go to the Old Testament or whatever you want to go, there was no word that I read in my Bible that Adam said, sit down, you must be submissive, you must be this, you must be that. They were together doing their thing and having their children and facing life, doing all of these things together. Marriage takes a lot from either the husband or the wife. But sitting and assuming or mismanagement of roles, because the woman has a role. No matter whether we talk from here till tomorrow, it's women that will still give birth to those children. Certain things we cannot change the role, but there are certain things that we can adjust. That's why I mentioned flexibility when I was talking. If you're not I think it was Daily Pay with Ola that said some husbands would even say, you know what? Let's weigh it. These are men who are men. You're earning more than me. You have been in this, you're even facing promotion. Look at the peanut I'm earning. This man will still come and say, my wife, I will stay at home with the children for the next 1 year. Where do we put that? So should society be looking at such a man as a wimp or as a lazy man? No. This is what works for their home right there and then. It doesn't mean the woman will not come and start disrespecting the man. And it doesn't mean that she knows that my husband has been wearing one shirt forever. She would know that I need to buy another or two or whatever. This is what we're talking about. Looking out for one another, not shying away from responsibility. I mean, I can't imagine, when women, this thing comes every month. And I'll be thinking, how do I put this word gently to my husband? I need money for... I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I feel a woman should not even be waiting for the man. He knows that these women have needs. Even if you're going to cut down on allowance or whatever, talk about it. My dear, things are not going smoothly or what. I'm going to cut, please help me manage. Not that this is what I have. Get over it. So it depends on how we talk about things, how we talk about these things to each other, and not just sit and assume. Because assumptions are never positive. They add more to the problems when we don't talk about it. And there's so many kinds of relationship out there. I know I'm talking, but there's certain things I just need to emphasize for the sake of the younger ones planning to, think about marriage or go into it in the nearest future. Many red flags people ignore. You talk and talk and talk is what in their heart they want to do, they're still going to do. But it won't stop us from telling them the truth. Like we're here now, a lot of you have been giving submissions. Whatever works for you, pick it and hold on to it and use it. Let it work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, please drop it. You don't have to take on board everything that is said here. So thank you everyone for your submission so far. We still have about 13 minutes to go. So nobody's attempting my puzzle. I'll say it to us again. I don't know, manager is not there. What kind of tiles did Jesus argue about with the contractors to put in his home? He wanted a particular tile. He's been saying to them, but they're refusing him, and he's arguing with them that I want this tile in my home. So what tile? Yeah, tiles. Lily, yeah. Tiles. Tiles. So what kind of tiles did he argue about? Somebody wants to attempt. You
Madam, have a go.
Yes, sis.
Stone tiles.
No. No, thank you. No. But yeah, okay. We're getting there. So anybody, any taker? It's just for us to kind of wind up because the talk was getting a bit intense. So what kind of tile did Jesus argue about with the contractors to put in his home? If you know the answer, please feel free to join in. So I have, let's see who is there. Tessie, you're welcome. How are you today? Tessie, you have to unmute so we can hear you. How are you, Tessie?
Hi everyone, good evening.
Good evening. Is your first time here? I'm fine, thanks. Is this your first time?
Am I echoing?
Not really.
Yes, this is my first time coming to your live stream.
I should give you a hint. If there's no hints, it's too easy. There's no hint. But the hint is Jesus and home. Okay.
Okay.
Tessie, do you want to attempt the puzzle? Or you want to contribute to our talk today? Whichever one, please feel free.
Let me just keep listening. I can attempt it. So maybe next time I'll try if I join on time.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. It's good to have new timers here. After today, you're part of the crew. No worries. Let's see. Just like we've been saying, there's a lot of things, but the bottom line is career and marriage. It takes a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of time. It will take a lot of tolerance, compromise, communication, not assumptions. You have to be flexible. You cannot just say, oh, okay, because you have given birth to this child, you must be there forever, blah blah, and all of those things. Somebody said here some women can go back to work part-time, and it's not anything. Doesn't mean they don't love their child, doesn't mean you've abandoned. And then again, it depends on where you find yourself. For example, in Africa, West Africa, where I grew up, before coming to this Western world, you have house helps, you have siblings, you have extended family popping and out. So there's always somebody, you don't even have to pay them to look after your children whilst you go back to work. But here in Europe, raising 4 boys without any help, you guys can imagine, back and forth work, in and out, part-time here. Okay, this child is old enough. Okay, I'll go full-time. Before you know, pam, another baby. And you have to keep compromising. You have to keep sharing responsibilities. You have to keep understanding that transition, or else it will be one-sided. One person is carrying more burden, more everything than the other person. It's not balanced. And why are we talking about this? Marriage is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. Because after a while, that endurance will wear out. And what you get is resentment, bitterness. Because of my husband, I stopped chasing my career. Now these children are grown and gone. I don't have anything to fall back on. Is it at that old age you want to start learning to do business that you're never interested? So there's a lot of things, you guys, we need to talk about. Even those who have been in marriage for donkey years, there's certain things you still need to talk about. You need to talk about retirement. What do you do? Do you want a family business? A lot of things, that needs to be talked about. Oh, no, yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You know that. So sometimes, our submissions might not just go down well with people because we all have different experiences of life. For those who are married, we have different experiences. My experience, the first 10 years of my marriage, is not the same as the next 10 years of my marriage. Now I'm going in the third 10 years. Now is a different ball game altogether. And why am I still in there? Because I've learned over those 20 odd years that, look, season comes, season go. Transitions will come. You have to learn to handle it. Otherwise, you get on each other. I'm telling you, that love, people would ask, why are they divorcing? Why are they separating? Is the love not there? But because we're not doing what we're meant to do at that transition level. The way you handled yesterday's transition, you might not just be able to handle it the same way today. You might need new strategies, more skills, or what have you. But if you're just so adamant, after all, you dealt with it that way. After you gave up your job, why can't you give up your job again? Things like that. It doesn't work that way. We need to be empathetic towards one another. We need to see things from each other's perspective, and that's how we can move peacefully and in harmony in our home.
Tell him tonight.
Deborah, how are you?
Tell him tonight.
Deborah, how are you? Good evening. Hello, Deborah. I can hear you.
Huh?
I think she needs to mute herself.
No, I just muted her because of the noise, because I'm not sure she's hearing me. I don't know if we still have any more submissions. We still have a few minutes to go. 75% of marriage counselors don't have happy marriage. I don't know. Where did you get this fact from? You never can tell. The one I know is that some of them are not even married at all. They're just doing it like a profession. So they might not be able, you think they can handle it. That's the one that is common that I've heard. Carly Bods, where did you get this fact from? Is it a fact or just a saying? 75% of marriage counselors don't have happy marriage. I'm not sure I completely agree with that. But if it's a research that's been conducted and this was the result, well, maybe I've learned something else today. Thank you so much. I don't know, Mrs. Williams, if you can talk before we round up, or if not, I do understand, because I really, really would love to hear from your wisdom, ma'am. APA website, American Psychologists Association. Okay, fair enough. So when the marriage counselor needs a marriage counselor, I don't know what happens. Yes. So guys, my quiz for today, nobody gets it. I always bring it back the week after and still give us a chance. So you can go and Google it. It's like saying a doctor has an illness. Does that make him less of a doctor? I wonder. That's another perspective to it. So I don't think so. I'm not too sure about that fact finding, but Americans, they do a lot of research and it's probably there online. So I wonder the set of people, that they used to conduct that research. I'm not sure. It just sounded somehow, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, it just sounded vague. 75% is a lot. That's a lot. That's why it doesn't kind of go down well, but it can be 75%. I don't know about that. It's a lot. 75%. You're telling me out of 100 counselors, 75 of them are not in a good marriage. It's hard. But maybe I'll have to go and do my own research. Thank you so much for that information, Collie. Much appreciated. Guys, thank you so much. Oh, okay. But maybe I should ask, which year was it conducted? Because this is 21st century now. Okay, I don't understand the language, sorry. Yeah.
I understand the language.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. So does anybody want to attempt the puzzle before we round off tonight? Otherwise, if you have any more, Deborah, can you speak where you are? Yuda, do you want to add something else before we go?
The puzzle is not the cornerstone.
Oh, no. Rock. Lord have mercy. No. So when I laugh, you have not gotten it right. So when I clap for you, you have it right. Love. What kind of tile did Jesus argue about with the contractors to put in his home? He wanted that tile. What's the name of that tile? Not love tile, no. Patience tile, no. So don't worry, you can go and research on it. Maybe Collie will come and tell us after he does the research. So next week, I'm going to bring this question back and hopefully somebody gets it. If not, I'll have to tell you and I'll keep my gift. That's what it means. So guys, thank you so much for making this one very interesting today. I really, really appreciate all of our contributions. But the bottom line, why we go there and talk about these things is just so that we can have a happier home to live in. Couples talk about things, don't brush it aside, don't sit and assume this person knows what I'm thinking, therefore they should know what to do. You have to say things out. Sometimes you may have to spell it out verbatim. If not, you're going to be there waiting and thinking, and then assumptions will come. They are not considerate. They are selfish. They are this. Because of that, No, haba. No. That's not a healthy way of living. So, guys, thank you all so much for your contributions, for the gifting, for sharing, for the likes. I really, really appreciate all of you. Lily, thanks for joining. Daily Pay with Tola. Sis, thank you so much for joining. Mrs. Williams, you didn't talk today now. Why? Maybe you have to be recording your voice and then I'll play it. Thank you good night, sis. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Deborah, thanks for joining in. Tessie, you are welcome. Yuda, thank you finally for coming up and sharing your view today. I really, really appreciate every one of you. And from me today, I'm going to leave us here and say, hope we sleep well. If you're in United Kingdom, please check that it's safe which city you're going to, because there's a lot of rioting and protests and all of that going on, and people are being kind of attacked. So let's be safe out there, wherever nation you find yourself. Please be safe. So that I'll see you back here on Monday at 8 p.m. We'll be talking about another interesting topic that relates with you and I. Thank you guys so much. I wish you well. Have a lovely night rest. God bless you.
Bringing hope and make you feel alright.
Thank you. Rainbow. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Future and life.
Let us go. Thank you, Deborah. Oh, thank
Shine
you.
to the whole world. Let the dawn.
Yuda, thank you so much. Mrs. Williams, thank you. Have a lovely night rest. I'll see you on Monday. God bless you.